It would have been easier to stay home today. In my pajamas, lounging, or even dressed out working in the yard, doing laundry, doing anything. It would have been easier. As long as I would have been alone. Even alone with Jesus. Alone with Jesus, I'm comfortable. It's convenient. He builds me up. And I sense his peace and his love. Especially his peace. There's no one around to disturb it. I never want to leave that peace. You know what that feels like? I never want to leave that peace. I can even take it with me when I travel. Have you discovered this? As long as I can find myself a private spot where no one disturbs me. I've taught myself how to be alone in a room full of people. I might be my best when I'm alone. I don't get upset with others, and I don't seem to make them upset with me. Jesus has transformed me into someone who can be alone in almost any situation. And maybe you've found this too. I find that God's law is easy to obey when I'm all alone. I don't hurt anyone. I just hang out in his refuge. But at some point, as I'm hanging out in that refuge with God alone, I feel an unease creep into me, an impulse to move toward others. I think of someone that I'm supposed to visit. Well, that's going to have to wait. I can't go to them now. I'm too busy. Someone who expects my call. No, I'll call them later. It's too noisy right now. A text I should send. Maybe I'll do it after this podcast. It's too late. The peace is shattered. I try to recreate it, but that doesn't work. Have you discovered the same? Because that peace, it wasn't mine. It was his. Wait, it was Jesus. Where did he go? He took his peace with me. One stray thought is all it takes to break it. And once it's broken, being alone isn't easy anymore. My thoughts are intrusive, sharp, intense. And I'm pulled away from my refuge. Refusing to leave feels like a rebellion. My heart accelerates and I can't refocus my thoughts away from the people that are now on my mind. I try to frame the feeling as my opposition to laziness. And I overcome it by doing something, anything. How many of you are like that? You fill that void that you feel creeping into your heart by just getting busy, but not necessarily busy doing the thing that you know Jesus is inviting you to. I don't have to give up being alone, but the peace isn't the same. but at least my thoughts have gone quiet for a moment while I'm active. But if it's not laziness that I was feeling, it must be something else. Something that I find unacceptable. It may be that Jesus went out into the crowd and he expects me to follow. I don't want to. I want him all to myself in my comfort zone. Now I'm restless, I'm anxious, and I'm keenly aware that I'm torn. Literally torn. I'm only partially present in my private space. How that other part of me split off and departed is a mystery to me, but I know that I am fractured and distracted and even dysfunctional. Ever since I chose to stay with Jesus through hardship, part of me is always with him. When he brings me into his refuge, I am whole. But then he heads back into the world, and I'm less than myself. My mind races trying to rationalize that Jesus ought to be content, relaxing with me. He knows me. I learn better in peace and quiet. I open up more. I ask more questions. I reveal myself. I try telling him that staying still would be the best way for him to form me into the man that he wants me to be. But he doesn't listen to me. My peace is broken again as I begin to wonder about the others with whom he spends his time. I've watched him from a safe distance. He too seeks refuge. He gets up earlier than I do to be by himself and pray. Sometimes he's gone long enough that people go looking for him. When they find him, he's always ready to go. He's ready to head out into the world, and he leads them to the next community, into the crowd, into the jostling, the noise, the questions, and the needs. Jesus spends a private moment with his Father before moving toward his people. He goes expecting me to follow. Refuge is not my purpose, but it's my guilty pleasure. I want to linger there. I want to be the center of the universe for a little while longer. A noisy, needy part of me craves the comfort and ease of my private moments with Jesus. But Jesus didn't tell me he would hang out with me. He told me to go find others, teaching them to obey everything that I have commanded you. I'm anxious because I know that I am supposed to go. He is sending me. He promised to remain with me when I enter the world because that is where he is going. Each time he readies to go out, I feel him look at me. The visit, the call, the text, those are where he is going. Each time I stay behind, I wonder to myself, what am I doing? I'm anxious because I'm not ready. and I know it. I look in the mirror and I see all the ways that I am unprepared to do what he wants me to do. I see the impatience in my face, the tension in my body that tells others to hurry up. I hear the hard edge of my words. And I imagine the disappointment in the face of someone who needed his gentle and patient attention. Maybe you could relate to this. I want him to perfect me before I go out there. He should strip all my flaws so that I represent him well. I would go into the world confidently knowing that I could handle whatever comes my way. I'd be prepared to be his miracle worker. It's in these moments that he stops me. He counts up the times the word I came out in my thoughts. And it's more than I'd like to admit. I don't want to go into the crowd because they will see me for who I am. Imperfect, dependent on Jesus, just like them. And I'd rather hide than expose myself. Serve my wants and needs instead of someone else's. I want to guard my time. I want to guard my energy. I even want to guard my money. And my heart is heavy because I have been choosing to neglect Jesus so that I don't embarrass myself. Not by being with him, but by being less than him. My pride has kept me from going into the world with him. My selfishness has even taken pleasure in it. But then he says to me, remember, I am with you always, to the end of the age. He will be seen with me as I am. Think about that. Jesus wants to be seen with me and with you exactly as we are. He's not embarrassed by us. He's not afraid that our imperfections will somehow tarnish him. He wants to be seen with us. Even when I'm messy, when I'm tired, when I'm selfish. The question is, do I want to be with him enough that I am willing to be seen in my state? Really seen. Because if you've noticed, when you go out with Jesus, people are paying attention to you, aren't they? And so if you go out with Jesus, you are not just going to be casually, vaguely observed. You're going to be really seen. I'm going to be really seen. He's going to bring me eyeball to eyeball with people. And they might see that I'd rather be doing something else. They might see that I don't want to give the thing that they need. They might see me as I really am, and sometimes I'm weak, and sometimes my flesh has its way. That's the cost. That's the cost to live out this verse. When Jesus tells us, his followers, the people who have already accepted him, we already know him, we've claimed him as Lord and Savior. We're not resisting Jesus for who he is. We love him for who he is. We've invited him into our lives. We've felt the healing power in our spirit of his presence telling us, I love you. Right now, just as you are, I love you. We've felt that. We've embraced it. And it feels great in the privacy of our own living room. But he says, go out and teach them to obey everything that I have commanded you. And remember, I am with you. He's going out there. And the cost for me to be with him is to be willing to go out there too. Am I willing to give up pretending that I don't have it all together? Am I willing to stop hiding all the time? Because the reality is, one way or another, Jesus is moving toward the crowd. The question is, will today be the day that I choose to go with him? Coincidentally, I received a phone call and an invitation this week. Our friends in Winslow, at the Winslow Church of the Nazarene, led by Pastor J.C. Nels, is going to be holding a revival on Friday the 20th and Saturday the 21st. And I was chatting with Cole, who, as you know, is, along with his wife Jamie, the head of our missions council. They're also amazing prayer warriors. And I mentioned this to Cole, and he said, you know what? I'd like to take a team of people, if anyone wants to go, and let's go out there and pray on the 21st at that revival. Pray with them, pray over them, pray for any who might be ready. So if you're willing to go, God's just presented an opportunity for us. Cole said he's willing to fire up one of the vans and make it convenient. It'll be in the evening on that Saturday, the 21st of March. I will be out there for both evenings. So if you're interested, talk to Cole. If you're not sure who Cole is, just look for the beard. That's Cole right there. All right, we're going to take a moment and celebrate communion. If you're visiting with us today,